New Lands, by Charles Hoyfort, Part 1, Chapter 12d. I typify the result of all examination of all principles or laws or dominant thoughts, scientific, philosophic, or theologic, in what we find in examining the pronouncement that motion follows the least resistance. That motion follows least resistance. How do we identify least resistance? If motion follows it, then motion goes where motion goes. If nothing can be positively distinguished from anything else, there can be no positive logic, which is attempted positive distinguishment. Consider the popular base, that capital is tyranny, and almost utmost wickedness, and that labor is pure and idealistic. But one's labor is one's capital, and capital that is not working is in no sense implicated in this conflict. Nevertheless, we now give up our early suspicion that our whole existence is a leper of the skies, quaking and craning through space, having the isolation that astronomers suppose, because other celestial forms of being fly from infection. That, if shelled away from external light and life, it is so surrounded and so protected in the same cause and functioning as that of similarly encompassed forms subsidiary to it, that our existence is super-embryonic. Darkness of night and of lives and of thoughts, super-uterine entombment. Blackness of the unborn, quasi-illumined periodically by the little sun, which is not light, but less dark. Then we think of an organism that needs no base, and needs nothing of finality, nor of special guidance to any local part to it, because all parts partake of the predetermined development of the whole. Consequently our spleens subside, and our frequently unmannerly derisions are hushed by recognitions that all organizations of thought must be baseless in themselves, and of course be not final, or they could not change, and must bear within themselves those elements that will, in time, destroy them, that seeming solidities that pass away in phantom successions, are functionaries relatively to their periods, and express the passage from phase to phase of all things embryonic. So it is one who searches for fundamentals comes to bifurcations, never to a base, only to a quandary. In our own field, let there be any acceptable finding. It indicates that the earth moves around the sun. Just as truly it indicates that the sun moves around the earth. What is it that determines which will be accepted, hypnotically blinding the faithful to the other aspect? Our own expression is upon development as serial reactions to successive dominants. Let the dominant spirit of an era require that this earth be remote and isolated, Keplerism will support it. Let the dominant change to a spirit of expansion, which would be impossible under such remoteness and isolation, Keplerism will support, or will not especially oppose, the new dominant. This is the essential process of embryonic growth, by which the same protoplasmic substance responds differently in different phases. But I do not think that all data are so plastic. There are some that will not assimilate with a prevailing doctrine. They can have no effect upon an arbitrary system of thought, or a system subconsciously induced in its time of dominance. They will simply be disregarded.